Alrighty. Welcome to stream, everybody. Hope y'all doing well. As you can see, as it currently is taking its sweet time to load, back with more Call of Duty. Specifically, the BO6 version. As we see right there. Perfect timing, right? I'm gonna be playing some more zombies. Trying to get more of those somewhat cool zombie camos. Some are cooler than others in my opinion. Which I feel is like a objective fact. Just be like, just because one person can think one camo's cool while the other doesn't. But I said I think are cool, so I really don't know where I'm going with this rant. I just need the game to load shaders, and I need something commentary-wise. There we go, we can move on now. Alright, so last time, which I feel like the last time I played BO6 was Wednesday? Tuesday or Wednesday, because I didn't stream Thursday because Thanksgiving. Shout out Thanksgiving, I guess. And then Friday, I was still recovering from that a little bit. My sleep schedule's kind of wonky again, but I want to say I was still finishing up SMGs, or I just finished SMGs and I moved on to shotguns. But regardless, I'm on shotgun now, so I have maxed out the ASG, and I've gotten the Opal camo for that shotgun. Last time I was on the ASG, that's right, because I finished out the Marine up to the Mystic Gold camo. But now, if we take a look at customized camo, I have already gotten 4 Manglers / special zombies eliminated, so that's what I'm going to be going for today, which should hopefully take only 1 match, since I only need 26 more Manglers to get. And then, after that, I need to see, yeah, we'll start to move on to LMGs, which yeah, we only need 3. I do have 3 unlocked currently, with the PML, the Fang, and the PU-21, but we do have the ability to get the XMG and the GPMG, which is unlocked at level 52. Yikes, okay. So obviously, right now, we don't need to mess with anything. I'm just going to run the PU-21 to start, since it is our arguably best weapon currently. I could run the Feng or the PML instead of the XMG, since I have less than 100 kills there. But it's the GPMG, since we have 200 kills. You know, well, like I said, we may just use the Fang or the PML to replace the XMG, but since it unlocks at level 13, I've got no idea right now. I don't know. Like I said, we don't need to worry about it right now, but it is something to think about. What LMGs do we want to use? Seeing that it unlocks at level 52, we might get through 3 LMGs by the time we get to level 52 here in this Prestige. And speaking of Prestige, I guess, re-prestiged. I am now on Prestige 5. Finished up Prestige 4 earlier earlier today, as you see there, entered December 1st, which today is technically start of the Christmas slash holiday spirit, I guess. I don't know. But already up to level 6. Should take us no time to get through, at least the first 30 levels. It's generally the last 20 to 25 that seem to take me a little bit longer. But I also get in a groove sometimes. It's just, I play zombies a lot. I get a good couple of matches and then it just piles up. But with us prestiging today, I got new daily challenges. The only one we have left is Sam Mastery, or Sam Trials, which should be easy. Just need to do 2 more of those to get to the master. Need to get to 2 more mastery of the Sam Trials. So, without further ado, I think we're good to rock and roll. Mostly caught up on everything. Check the armory. The armory is still automatically adding new stuff once we unlock one thing. Currently, trying to get a marksman rifle, the Essex Model 7, which I was looking at my marksman rifles, and I feel like the Model 7 wouldn't be horrible to run. It would be different, which would be fun. Obviously right now, I think my best, I guess, DMR slash marksman rifle is the DM10 or something.
Alpha, Security Chief Blanchard, how copy? I've barricaded the command center. Got a little dinged up, but I'll live. See if there's anyone left to save. Body cam's locked.
Still on the bow staff as well. We are above 1,500 kills though, so that's something, I guess. I think it's right there, the DMR, that is my better one. DM10, yeah. So obviously, probably going to use that one, and I think it's the first DMR in the category, so... like I was saying, I think it's the first DMR in the marksman rifle category, so we're going to be using it anyways, I would presume, at least. And I think I need 4 or 5 DMRs, so, the Model 7 wouldn't be, a horrible DMR to run. And I don't know why, but I have a feeling that the Model 7 would potentially have explosive rounds when you pack punch it. I don't know why, I just have a feeling that it might. And I just want, with it being different, instead of like a modern weapon, if that makes sense, I guess. Like, lever action, the rest are just magazine fed, so like, other than the, current shotgun, this is tube fed, but shotguns are different than, you can get a magazine. Maxine, who's Maxine? You can get them with a magazine, like we did with the ASG. And there's the third shotgun that has like a little bit different magazine, but...
Oh, mate, that's a bit too sweet for my liking.
I don't know. I mean, I am gonna go back and get all of the weapons, whatever camos, the Nebula camo anyway, so...
Ah, the glass door on that one.
Just starting off with the ones that are needed for the Mastery Badge. Ah! Ooh, there's the kill for round 4 with us. With us needing 2 hits now with bow staff or melee. If I can, you know, hit them as well, might be useful / helpful. Alright, let's get up and move on, get out of the Liberty lanes. Nobody there. Nobody there. Let's go see who's chilling up on the rooftops. Nobody there. One there. Excuse me, don't mind me. And we got 2 on the rooftop here. Now we can start using the shotgun.
Bravo Zulu. One
We don't
less
need
spider to
kills
worry
with
about.
it anymore, other than the manglers, but...
Right on the button.
Oh shit, I didn't realize they could jump right there. Oh! Spooky!
Max ammo.
Ouch. You still alive? Kill him! What kind of interpretive dance is that? What the sucks? Alright. Did not think that the vermin would be able to jump, I don't know, a 2-story building. I wanted to reload before I got that final shot. I just missed the one that I forgot about. That makes sense. Nice. 1 shot, 2 kills. Look at us go.
Points.
It's the Juggernog.
How long does it take to kick
Yeah,
in?
we should be able to
Holy shit!
kill for eternity now, right? Or until we run out of ammo. Which eternity ending might come first? The end of eternity. Is it the end of eternity that I'm trying to think about? I have no idea. Because it's eternity, it can't really come to an end, right? Game stop sign. Not even a stop sign, it's a street sign. I need some speed cola in my life. Speed things up.
I feel a bit anxious. That's not okay.
Haha, miss me. Where's that insecure? I would definitely take that.
Easy now.
Oh, we got 1 bolt left as well. Sweet. Don't have enough ammo to get to 2250. So, we'll grab ammo before we go to the church.
didn't come here to fuck around.
Oh boy. That was a little close one.
Bonus points.
Lose track of ammo so quickly. Like, yeah, I got one more shot. Look down, it says 0 in my chamber. 0 in the chamber.
Max armor.
Alright, there we go. And we now have enough money to open up the church. Damn. Free Molotov in the church, anyone? Guess it is fitting, kind of. If Jesus can turn water into wine, I don't see why there can't be a Molotov in the church. He's just asking for it at that point. You're just gonna have bottles of water hanging around, they get turned into wine. Like, you're just a rag and lighter away from a free Molotov cocktail. It's all in good spirits. The Molotov cocktail. It's for a cocktail party, right? Like, you're already out of ammo again, man. Max ammo. Or double points with no ammo. Lovely. That makes sense. Let's try to go get ammo real quick. At least salvage a little bit of the double points that we have left. Literally freaking. We don't have slugs because slugs is its own little ammo mod, but do we have buckshot then? Probably buckshot, yeah, if slugs is an ammo mod. But like buckshot right to the face, how are you not going down? Alright, let's go pack a punch. Not entirely sure when. Oh, this is max ammo round, so Mangler won't spawn then. Ooh, Sam Trial, let's go up to Liberty Lanes. I didn't see when that spawned, but it is only the second max ammo round, so it should be pretty easy for us to handle on top of the Sam Trial. Am I blind? Did it just go away, or can I not do the Sam Trial during this round? So it should be, yeah, right there, unless I'm blind. We'll see. It was right there, no? What the hell? God damn it. Yeah, plenty of them will spawn. It's just I wanted the easier one, damn it. Alright, hopefully it respawns in the next couple of rounds then. And fuck the shotgun. What the hell? I would assume that the Mangler would spawn right now. That works. Hey, buddy. Why are you screaming at the wall? Alright. 5 down, 26, 25 to go. Started with 26 to go. Now we only have 25 to go. It might just be me, but when I fucking hit the armored zombie in the head, it's like a very extremely loud, like, armor breaking sound. I don't know why. Maybe my headphones are going. I don't know. Ooh, another Mangler off rip here, okay. Ah, don't put me in the corner. Hi, do you mind?
Need to shut down that pickup officer now, team.
Did a thingy spawn? No. One just spawned last round. I don't know how often the SAM trials spawn. I would assume every couple of rounds, but it could be every couple of rounds, every 10 rounds. It could be every other game that one spawns. Kinda sucks that we missed the one though, but we'll be fine. I hear it drop. I'm losing my mind. I'm going delusional. Somewhat. Not full insanity yet though. I'm still conscious. For the most part. When's my Mangler buddy gonna spawn? So I can shoot him in the face. Ah, how did I miss that shot? Ah!
Max armor.
Good timing for max armor.
I rarely miss.
Do you mind? I'm trying to kill the zombies in front of me and you're not helping by not letting me see you. Still need like 1400 to upgrade our weapon rarity to epic. Look for the SAM trial. Aha! Don't have to go very far. Very nice, very nice. And abomination spawn, sweet. Some pity. That's from above. Oh, I need... Okay. So, where do I get the, thingy? Oh, at a higher elevation? Oh. Oh. That's... I thought it was the score streak one. What I could do is just run around on the cars, yeah. I got a minute to do this though. There's two. Well, right here actually.
You must be so proud of the minor
There's
success you are
10 right
experiencing.
now. Number 11. I might die trying to do this, but... Yeah, just do it on the cars. That works beautiful. So my original idea was correct. Just kill them from the cars. Oh shit, I don't like the ammo. I need one more kill. 26. Okay, we got this. We got this. Go, go.
Despite your obvious
There we go, okay.
deficiencies, you succeeded against all odds. Organic life really
Okay, I
is
need
amazing.
one more
I anticipate
SAM trial to
seeing joy
spawn
on your
now.
faces when you claim your reward. Please, smile for the camera.
Ooh, monkeys. Not entirely sure what I need left for monkeys. I don't... Yeah, let me see if I can... Yeah, still need 24 more. There, excuse me. It doesn't say there, okay. I've got no idea then. I may... Really gonna add that like a couple zombies ago
Getting started.
while I was still doing the SAM trial. And doesn't really matter, I pack punch anyway. Free ammo. But yeah, I don't know how many more kills I need with the with the symbol monkey. I know I was somewhat close, but I don't remember like if I was kind of like 50 kills close. And I did get a couple monkeys kind of between the last time I played, so... we can go upgrade a weapon to epic. We may be done with monkeys. I don't remember where we're at. Tactical. I think I finished all my tacticals. And monkey's still good to have. Ah! Calm down, big bomber. Calm down.
I trained for this.
If only the abomination was that easy to take out every time. Oh, I didn't rack a bullet. Or rack a shell. I hate English. I hate how it's not automatic. It's just like if you like there, you gotta wait a second to rack a shell. Instead of it just being like second nature, like automatic, it's just if you shoot and then run immediately afterwards, you're not gonna have one in the chamber. You gotta wait a second for him to rack the slide for a shell to get loaded in. It's stupid. Very dumb. Okay, so we just need like 12 more rounds worth of manglers. There we go. Blow up the car. Where'd you go? Damn! I was coming around the corner like Jason in Friday the 13th. God dang. Wait till we reload. Now go for the ammo. There we go. Oh yeah, look for SAM trial real quick. And nothing, okay. I didn't see it pop up on the screen, but apparently I missed that last time when it was in bowling alley, so... I never really trust myself to see it when it spawns on screen. Ah, if only we got double points and then the insta-kill, that would have been amazing points-wise. Alright, 15,000 more to go till we can repack a punch. We need 23 more manglers to spawn now. Bum 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 bum. Back in Liberty Lanes. for the Motor Lodge. Wherever the fuck that is. There's too much stuff on the map for me to find the exact location. Okay, it's over there. Ooh, that's a risque spot. Oh, it's up here, but yep, okay. I didn't press it. What do we need? What do we need? What do we need? My first score streak? Okay. I need 25 with the hand cannon. 35 with the hand cannon. What the shit?
Assaulting with hand cannon.
Okay, halfway there. 6 bullets to go. 28. 4 more. Okay. That was actually a lot easier than I thought with the hand cannon. It's 25 if you get the if you get the Hellstorm. I know that for sure, because that was the last score streak one I got. Take the salvage. We'll drop you, but we have monkey, so we don't really need it. Okay. And we're just under halfway there as well. For salvage to get up to 5,000 to make it a gold rarity, or legendary, I guess. Yeah, same difference. Still stuck at 23 manglers, I believe. Yes. Hoping one spawns this round. See, I think we got Abomination 1 or 2 rounds ago, but now we don't need to wonder if one's gonna spawn. We got one right there. He's gonna not shoot the car. Okay, thought he was gonna shoot the police car, and that scared me because he can fucking blow up the car. Nice. Okay. Reload, try to get around all the zombies, head back for the ammo. We do need the Hellstorm score streak, because we need like 50 or something kills with it. I think, I don't remember, entirely remember, but I know we're at like 400 something with it, I think. Okay, good amount of salvage that round. Re-up on the armor that everybody dropped. That was close. Probably could have gotten it, but yeah. Alright. 5,000 more points to go. 3150 salvage left. Big Mama, there she is. Stupid, can't run through cars. Ah! I can't run through cars either. It's fine. I'm sorry for bullying you earlier about not running through cars. I know it's difficult. Oh my god! There we go. There we go. 6 bullets. Okay. Did we pick up the ammo from the Abomination? I don't think we did.
You need to hit the exit button. We're
We don't really need it. This is where he died, so we must have, yeah. We got 30,000 anyway, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. Well, now we have 16, okay. So we must have just picked it up then. Okay, 22, yes. So 11 rounds worth of 2 manglers, basically. There's one. Good start. Nice 2 quick shots off the mangler. That's right, and it's just pack a punch, so we have full ammo, max ammo. Ooh, get me away from that car. Knowing my luck, I'm probably gonna go down. Thank you for exploding. Oh no, okay. I gotta stop trying to run through there. I'm gonna get myself killed. Just wanted the ammo. Now we can... Yeah, now we can start really... And of course max ammo. Love this game. Okay. 4 bullets and we'll reload. 21 manglers to go. Probably going to be going around 30, 32 or something. Yeah, we probably got... It's 21, so we have like 10 rounds left at least.
Alpha team, extra window closed.
Because if we get 2 manglers for the next 10 rounds each, we still have 1 mangler left.
Max ammo.
So like 10.5 rounds, maybe. You know, if we get a mangler here and then, you know, 2 each round after this round. Okay, 20 to go. Oh boy, okay. And there's another one, so now we're gonna get 2 manglers here on out. Hopefully we can meet the mangler if he goes back this way. And we beat him there, that works. Try to get back up to the ammo on the first mangler, but obviously not sure if we will. I don't know why I tried to cut that so close. I could have rerouted on top of the rooftop, but I swear, like, half the time I die in zombies, it's really just my fault. It's like, why did you go down there? Because I was an idiot and thought I could make that little gap that I think I saw, like, when there's literally no gap whatsoever. Alright, well we got enough salvage now, and we can upgrade our armor. We'll do that. I think we need 19 manglers. Yeah, 19 to go now. Technically 9.5 rounds left, but you know, there's gonna be the max ammo rounds, and then the rounds with an abomination and whatnot. Okay, there's Mango there. And then that one unlucky round that we only get 1 instead of 2. So it's just very... almost just RNG. I mean, it is RNG to kind of be able to kind of get the spawn rates of a mangler? Is it going to be an abomination this round? Is there going to be 2 manglers? I should not have picked up that ammo yet. I'm stupid. I'll throw a monkey, try to get a few kills here. That was a horrible monkey throw. Double points. Damn! Ah! Don't hurt me. I'm sorry for killing 845 of your brothers. Oh, hey there. Sam trial. Honestly, I might just do the Sam trial. Well, I don't need anything from it. Might have a good tactical, but that's it. Do I really want to waste time and ammo on the Sam trial for maybe a decent tactical? Probably not. Okay. So what are we up to? We only had 1 spawn of 13, so... Or was it 2? I don't remember. I think it was 2. Like I said, I can't remember. But we're at 17 now, I think, so... Okay. Ah! Just run, just run, just run! Where's the mangler? Where's... not the mangler, the, where's Princess? Where's Big Mama? There's Big Mama. Jump over the car, you stupid! Thanks to your lackluster athletic ability, we're now out of fucking armor plates. Totally wasn't my fault that you weren't jumping over the car. Totally wasn't choosing, you know, the highest point of the car to jump over or anything. Nah, it's the in-game character's fault. Big Mama. And she's down. You think you cleared run one way and then they're there, bam. Very spooky, I don't like it. Yo, gamer, how's it going, man? How's it hanging? Doing alright, that's good, that's good. I am doing A-okay. How's your Thanksgiving, man? If you celebrated it, I guess. Is having turkey and, like, just eating that kind of, like, food, like Thanksgiving, quote-unquote Thanksgiving food for dinner, or lunch, I guess, considered celebrating Thanksgiving? Okay, October. Ah, I see. Okay, that was a few more zombies than I was expecting. Okay, so that's... for me, that's a little weird. How do you celebrate in October? Like, is it just... oh, no. Shoot the damn gun! Like, is it just, like, the same thing? You just celebrate it, like, a month early, though? Did we get the other wrangler? We did. Behind what we have in October. Well, this sounds like a question for Google to give us maybe a very BS answer, but... I wonder because I know like a lot of, not a lot, but I know some of my family members back in like 1880, 1900s, like my great grandma or great great grandma, I can't remember which one. On my dad's side, they went to Canada first from like Europe and Germany and all that. It's like I don't know if, like
Snooze, you lose.
whoever
Let's go,
got to
Cole.
Canada first or like a month early and then they decided to come here, or like, did they just happen to get to Canada a month early and then now Canada celebrates it a month early maybe? I don't know. That is interesting though. Once I get down to like a couple zombies, I'll maybe look it up.
Bonus points.
I have, kind of. I haven't really been watching Clippers games, but I've been paying attention to box scores a little bit. And yeah, the James Harden's once again being the leader of his team. I mean, to be fair though, Kawhi really hasn't been doing what that is also fair. But like I saw a video and it kind of encapsulated James Harden very well. It's like every team Harden goes to, ever since he's been on, or ever since he went to Brooklyn, I think that was his team after the Rockets, he's had to be the main scorer. Or not like the main scorer, but be the superstar, be the star of the team. Like, he went to Brooklyn to team up with Kyrie and KD, but then Kyrie and KD kind of were injury prone those couple of seasons, so Harden had to step up and be that star player that he wasn't trying to be. He was trying to be like the sidekick. And then that didn't happen. Now in the clip, I can't remember where he was at between. He went straight to LA after Brooklyn, right? Yeah. And now like on the Clippers, he had Paul George and he's got Kawhi. Kawhi's not as consistent as he used to be, like on the Spurs pre-injury there. And you're starting to see it a lot with. That's right. He played with the Sixers. That's right. That's who I forgot. Like same thing there. Trying to be a sidekick to Embiid, but Embiid kind of started to go downhill with injuries, and so he was kind of James Harden had to step up and be the main star again. Now on the Clippers, you're starting to see it again. Harden having to score 30, 40 a night just to kind of keep the Clippers afloat, keep his team alive. And you're kind of seeing it with Chris Paul as well. And some of the older players that the Clippers have, and I say some, even though it's most, but some to most of the Clippers players, they're having to play more minutes than they were probably expecting in LA. Just because those quote unquote star players aren't playing either great or like Paul George at all. And so now they're having to step up and play a bigger role than they were probably either wanting or expecting, at least. Why does Canada celebrate Thanksgiving in October? That makes very much more sense. So obviously AI overview, so not like entirely. I'm sure like this down here, I wouldn't trust entirely, but that makes a lot of sense because Canada has a colder climate in November, so October would make sense to celebrate or have Thanksgiving for most people there. Yeah, more practical. I guess if you're more, well, even if you're in most southern parts of Canada, like northern USA, like Michigan, November's basically winter for you. You know, like Montana, maybe the northern part of basically the border between like any border states in northern US, like Michigan and North Dakota. I mean, even New York gets cold around November-ish. So I mean, see, like I was saying, this makes a lot of sense just because of the colder climate and the harvest season. But like the date, I don't, I wouldn't necessarily trust it because I haven't really done any research. But you could probably say around 1950s, late 50s. We got snow here. I also got snow. I think I got snow on the 29th, I think. Let's see, it was Monday, something. Yeah, on Saturday I got snow as well. And it's cold. I got a Let's see, right now it is currently below freezing. It is 29 degrees outside for where I am at, so I feel you, I feel you. It's me personally, I like the cold because I don't like being hot and, you know, sweaty when I'm just chilling in my house. You know, like if the AC isn't working the best on that day, you're like, great, I just like hot and humid days I cannot do. So that's probably the main reason why I will never move to Florida and live there on purpose. Or at least like southern states like Louisiana, Georgia, Florida. So it's, you know, I will never move to those kind of states on purpose. Just because I don't like it being humid. Now for like a vacation spot for maybe like a week, I probably wouldn't mind it, but as an actual living space in my home, I'm gonna do that. I just would not be able to survive. I'd probably get used to it, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to live there long enough to get used to it. So, that's fair. I kind of figured there. My room's also not crazy small, but I have to open my window sometimes because my PC emits so much heat with the fans. Like, I might have to open my windows soon anyway, so. Miss me. Woohoo, we got around the corner. Now he's gonna spawn behind me. What's this? Plus my room takes up most of the space. Huh? Aw, that didn't hit me. Oh, your bed. Gotcha. Put me out of the corner. Is the abomination stuck on the table? Oh, not anymore. He's dead. That's not bad. Nice. I feel like that's where most people put their beds, right next to the window. Or at least in a, you know, area where the window can reach. Or like if you open the window, you're gonna get cool air relatively quickly. And I feel like it's just design-wise, it makes the most sense. I've got 45,000 bucks. Let's go get some more perks.
I do this on the regular. Trust me.
I should say if you have a window, but at the same time, I also feel like most people have windows in their rooms as well. I feel like almost every room is supposed to have a room, just based on like fire safety and like codes when designing a house. Don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure, but just for like fire exit safety. Like most, not most, but almost all houses, I think, need to have 2 entrances / 2 exits for fire safety. So like, that's what makes me think that almost every room needs at least some type of window. You know, it may not be the best window, but, you know, a window regardless, just so you can escape during some sort of hazardous event. Say hazardous, like a fire is, I don't know. Listen, Queen is very good, yeah. I haven't listened to all of their songs, but Queen is very good, even 50 years later. Their songs in the 70s are 50 years old. Like, there's songs in the 80s. Only 40 this decade. Coming up on 50, though. Well, I know what Freddy's last words before I died. Don't make me boring. Something like that. It's quite fun. What were his last words? I will say though, like in 2018, when the Queen movie Bohemian Rhapsody came out, they kind of did Freddie a little dirty, in my opinion. At least they didn't do Freddie dirty. It's just the rest of the band, like Brian May and whoever the drummer and I can't remember who the other 3 were. Numbers. Roger Tyler, and then I guess John Deacon, I would say. Yeah, John Deacon. And then Brian May. Since, like, they were still alive, and they were kind of, like, co-producers of the movie, they kind of got final word on what got put in it. So, like, if you get a chance, if you haven't watched it yet, I would say do it. Have you seen it? Okay. So, like, in the movie, you know, like, how Freddy's, you know, like, just a complete party animal and whatever. It's like Brian, John, and Roger just kind of goody two-shoes, like, oh, we can't stay and party. We got to go back to we have our family and whatever. And, like, how they kind of make Freddy just to be like that super crazy wild card of the group. And obviously I don't know like the like full story, but I would say like I most bands were, if one member was doing it, more than like the entire band, or at least most of the band, was doing some of that kind of wild stuff, you know? Obviously, or not obviously, but maybe not to like the extreme that maybe Freddy did do, but like with the other three kind of being co-producers and having final say on what gets put in the movie, they were kind of able to just kind of keep their what's the word I'm looking for? Keep their image a little bit cleaner, you know? It's like, I guess doing Freddy dirty is a little bit, it's not the right term. It's just they didn't do him fair. Because, you know, if they were gonna have a true biopic and have the rest of the band kind of involved with the movie, I feel like they should have done it a little bit more accurate. I like the writer guy because he was bad influence on Freddy and what he made him do. And that's where I was kind of saying is how the other three, I feel like it's more of just an interpretation of kind of what they saw. It may not have been like the full story, but obviously, you know, yeah, he probably did force Freddy to do a couple of stuff that wasn't the best. I'm gonna get myself killed here. I'm not like disagreeing slash kind of trying to be like, yeah, no, that never happened. But at the same time, that's kind of one of the instances where like, yeah, it was probably bad and it wasn't anything pretty. But, you know, what kind of... Ooh, how are we able to make that up?
Max armor.
No, not about the upper suit. Right, yeah. I just think if they made Bohemian Rhapsody and Freddy was still alive, he probably would have been able to, you know, make his side of the story a little bit more accurate to what fully happened, obviously. But I think it was just the fact with Bohemian Rhapsody that Freddy wasn't there to kind of call out the rest of the BS that may not have happened. Like, you know, Brian or Roger or John saying like, yeah, this seems good for the scene. That probably happened. And it, you know, just Freddy not being there to, because it's a good biopic for the most part. It's just not 100% to what, obviously nothing is, but just not 100% probably what happened and everything, you know. I believe his first name was Paul. I can't remember what his last name was. But I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Pick up windows open.
Google. Probably gonna be faster if I just look up Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie, and then look for cast. John Deacon, Jim Beach, Paul Prenter, I believe Paul Prenter. Where is it? Where is it? I lost it. Shit. There it is. Apollo and Freddie A. I don't know if that's public knowledge. Well, let's see. We know who gave. I don't think so. Not more than anyone. During the height of Queen's career, I think so. Yeah, I think he was. You're right. Um, I don't think we know who, because like I said, I don't think that's public information. Says he was diagnosed in 87. Um, but yeah, it doesn't really say kind of who was the quote unquote giver. I don't think that. I think that was more for movie's sake. Because at that point in the movie, I think they wanted to make the bad guy Paul. Um, Paul was proud, obviously, not, I say obviously very loosely, but I want to say, like, Paul just probably wasn't the best person. More than likely wasn't the best person. Especially when you give, or especially when you have him around somebody like Freddie Mercury, who had basically limitless money at that point, would like to party, so like if you suggested something like, that's, you know, a really good idea, let's throw that party, you know, let's have that with our party, you know, like, you know, it was just a very bad influence, but he was kind of like the abuser in a relationship. Is like, he's gonna make it seem like it's your idea to throw all this stuff, to do all this stuff at a whatever, at an event or something. But for like the CBS thing, then I want to say it was more towards the movie. We could also just look it up. Because with something like Bohemian Rhapsody, with it being more of a biopic, and like I said, with, you know, Freddie not being there, it's not, you're not gonna get 100% side of his story. It's really only gonna be what, you know, everybody's heard or seen. So a lot of it's not gonna be true, or a little bit exaggerated and whatnot. Because, you know, Paul may have kept it secret, but he said, no, I didn't keep it secret, or whatever, you know. Was it the CBS thing, or was it Live Aid that Paul kept from Freddy in the movie? Because I can't remember what... Like, I know the scene. It's when they're out in front of his house and whatnot. And I think Mary was telling Freddy about the Live Aid thing. May have been from CBS. Or like CBS was holding the thing. Holding the event of Live Aid. Yeah. And I think CBS, if you're remembering CBS, I think CBS may have just been hosting the event or something like that. I can't remember who held Live Aid. What's it called? Stuff. Not sure. I don't know. Just because he liked the rich lifestyle. Yeah, exactly. All right. Google. Did Paul? Oh, what's this? Lie to Freddie Mercury. In real life. Okay, so that part is fictional. That's only for the movie's sake. To not prevent, Paul did not prevent Mercury from performing at Live Aid. The band did perform, and the movie's timeline of Pretner's betrayal and firing was altered for dramatic effect. That's what I thought. Was eventually fired by Mercury after Live Aid for unrelated reasons, such as throwing a party where the house was trash, and he later sold a story about Mercury's personal life to the Sun newspaper. Okay. I feel like I've heard that before, I just couldn't remember exactly. See, I feel like that would have been a better story. I just don't know how they would have fit that into the movie. Because, one scene, they kind of got two birds, one stone. Like, you get Mary telling Freddy's like, oh yeah, you're gonna go to the Live Aid thing with Queen or whoever, whatever. And so you just make it be like, oh, it was all Paul's fault that he didn't tell Freddy, instead of having this, like, probably 30 minutes extra of, the actual story. Because the movie's already over 2 hours long, like. Yeah, that's a lot of probably what the bands were like. I wonder what else Paul lied to Freddy about, or like, what are they still keeping under wraps that they're gonna take to their graves, Out of the band not notify Paul, really. That's how it was. So that was more on Freddy's decision to fire Paul. Because I want to say that the band was like, yo, Freddy, Paul needs to go. He's good for you. He's making you do bad things. Because in the movie, when John, the bassist, is coming up with the bass line for Another One Bites the Dust, you see the effect on Freddy just being like a little bit more carefree, and not carefree, but like under that type of influence. Now, was it exactly when Another One Bites the Dust was about to come out that it was that's when things really started to go downhill? Who knows, but don't sell it to that in real life or just the movie. I think he did go solo. But it wasn't for very long. He seems to... Okay, that seems to be the same. He passed away. Known for being Freddie... Okay, so he passed away in 91. At the age of 45, damn. Oh, and... Alright. That's fine. I can hop back into the game. What did he pass away from? Cause of death. AIDS, okay. AIDS complications. Interesting. Well, there's another question. That's right. What years did Freddie Mercury go solo? That's right, he did go solo. So his first solo album was in 85, continued to work through the late 80s. Released the album. So in 85 released yeah, Paul died from AIDS complications as well. In 91 as well, which is very interesting. Because Freddie died in 91, right? Yeah, he died in 91 as well. Let's see. November 24th, 91 was Freddie. And then Paul died in August of 91. So Paul died 3 months earlier, excuse me. So it seems like for like 3 years, Freddie was on a little bit of a solo tour. Maybe like 2 years, but in 1988 released another album with a collaboration. Makes me think plug it. I'm not the one that thinks. Yeah, you're probably not the only one. You know, I would think back in 91, something on the news being like, well, Freddie Mercury died just from AIDS complications, and 3 months earlier, so did the arguably more famous partner of Freddie, you know, like 3 months earlier just passed away from AIDS complications, you know, like. I think after the 2018, after the release of Bohemian Rhapsody, a lot of people were probably putting that together. Being like, you know, that's probably not a weird coincidence that those two were kind of in the same boat, you know? Because he's probably up there for the one who did give Freddie the complications, but... So, AIDS really isn't a thing you... Especially back in 80s and 90s, you really didn't have control of who you did and didn't give it to. Like, if you had the same-sex partner, and with 80s and 90s, you didn't really have the medicine to control the disease. it just kind of was an unfortunate side effect, I guess. I feel like side effect's the wrong term for it, but it's like cancer. It's just, you just might happen to have it one day. Now, obviously, with obviously, with, same-sex partners, you're gonna probably run into that a lot more often than... no, you're going to run into it a lot more often than not, but... And I feel like there's, like, a couple of different other ways to get AIDS, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Magic get AIDS. That was HIV that he got. Magic got the HIV, which is, it's similar, but I feel like with cancer, it's like same thing with cancer. There's like 7 different things of cancer that you can get. So there's like 7 different HIV/AIDS that you can get. It's like there's just so many different categories of the disease. I feel like almost every disease as well. It's like, well, you have this specific type, but we can just categorize it into HIV or AIDS if you would like, Is that a max armor? I really need max armor. And it's bonus points. Because I feel like, especially in the 90s and 80s, that's what a lot of people did, is just they categorized it as one singular disease instead of just lost my train of thought. Okay, that's what I feel like what most people do is they just categorize it as HIV or AIDS. They don't like really have a specific category or variant of what they have, or they don't say what they have. They just like, yeah, I got this disease. And I feel like the other thing is if you say like the specific variant or specific HIV disease that you have, people might get confused, so you just say AIDS or HIV just to help with confusion. I would say probably not. I would say not even Freddy knew who gave him the HIV disease. Because, like, if what the movie says is correct, or I guess shows more, just how much there was, like, how much partying and how many parties Freddy threw, which probably wasn't Freddy's, like, probably wasn't Freddy who threw them, it just happened to be at his place, so it happened to be Freddy's party. And from some stories that I've heard from other bands at the time, like in the 80s and 90s, like Motley Crue, that's a very good example of kind of the parties that you would expect. I would say there's a lot more than just Paul that was happening at the time. But I feel like most people are just gonna point their fingers at Paul, which is fair. I mean, that's kind of the main suspect. Just because of there's a lot of evidence surrounding the fact that he might have been the what's the word? Might have been the main culprit around Freddy, you know. Like Paul through most of the yeah. Like for the however many years, and especially during Queen's height, for most of the parties, it was more than likely Paul who was throwing them. Like I said, they just happened to be at Freddy's place, you know. Ah! There's 2 manglers there. I think I need like 6 more still. Okay, 1 down there. And there's the other one. I don't have any armor plates. This is not good. I need to pick up the ammo. Currently don't have any ammo, that's why I need to pick some up. I need to get back there. Perfect. Okay, we need to get the Mangler down so I can grab his ammo. Where's the other? Alright, we got him down. Alrighty. Probably gonna have to buy some ammo, but at least we got a good. At least we got the two members there. So there's another one. Sweet. That car is going to blow up soon. Like that. Put that ammo. In the end of his life, because something wrong with them. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what diseases do, is they just take your body away from you, basically. Unfortunately. Anybody ready to call someone else wanted to throw a party? Freddy said he wanted to throw a party, or the guy on the phone? Oh, that's, I remember now, yeah. Freddy was calling, yeah, because something was happening, I can't remember.
I trained for this.
That's where I say mostly, like, that's where I would say mostly Paul or, like, somebody else threw the party. It just happened to be at Freddy's house or place or property. But, you know, with Freddy being that, within that lifestyle, slash, just kind of in that wrong place, wrong time, somewhat. You know, Freddy threw some of the parties himself. I would assume, but.
Patrolling with hand cannon.
But I feel most of them were. I don't know, it's tough because, like, you want to say, like, oh yeah, this is who threw the party. Then it's like, well, I got invited by this person, so I thought it was their party. Well, I got invited by this person, so I thought it was their party, you know? But then they ended up at this guy's place, so maybe it's his party. Past him, we did sweet jump up. I think I need 4 manglers, maybe 3. There's one down. Where's the other one? The other one's right there. Reload. Okay, he's down now. Grab the ammo. There's another mangler that spawns. Sweet. Ooh, Hellstorm. I will take that.
Pain requesting Hellstorm.
Okay. That's right. Yeah, I was remember that scene. Yeah. After 4 years of not remembering. Oh my God, there's 3 manglers here. How many do we need? We need just 1. Okay. I just can't die right now. Okay, I have PhD, that's right, so the car won't do any damage. Okay, I need to just get an open shot on one of them. Next ammo, I'll take it. Don't need it, but like I said, I'll take it. Alright, 1 down. Just kidding, I think. I don't know, is 1 down? I think so. 1's down, okay. We'll get an extra kill just to be on the safe side. Yeah, we'll just kill all of them, be on the safe side. Okay, yeah, loot down, sweet. If we got Hellstorm again, we got Death Machine, I think. And then nothing. Okay. Alright. Solid game. I think right, Paul's bad person shit. Anything totally wrong. More than likely. And I would say, like, just the entire kind of inner circle of Queen. If Paul was as apparent as he was in the movie to real life, which most people like that are, I would say, like, just kind of everybody, like I say again, that was in that inner circle of Queen, just kind of knew that Paul wasn't, you know, a great person, and they probably saw that he was dragging Freddy down with him. And, you know, if Freddy did treat the rest of Queen the way he did in the movie, kind of crappy, it's like, you know, do I really want to try to stay friends with him, or do I just want to be a bandmate / just kind of focus on my own thing a little bit? He's still alive. Potentially. If anything, he he may necessarily not, be still alive to, 2026, but he may not have passed away from complications of HIV or AIDS or whatever. Or he still may be alive. That's one of the biggest what ifs, like, what if he never met Paul or didn't hang out with Paul like he did? Why did I put Mystic Gold? I have the Opal camo. And that's his weapon number 15. Woohoo! Yeah, it's very, very just. I don't know, it's tough. Because it's like, why. Why that? Why did he have to go like that? Just such a talented musician. We could have gotten 30 more years, 40 more years of not maybe not 30 or 40, but potentially 10 to 20 more years of pretty damn good Queen music, or at least some Freddie Mercury solo stuff or something like. Okay, how many more kills do we need? We need 1,400 critical kills. Okay. We need more, so we need 40 manglers total with this. With the 21 down. 300 hip fire, that'd be easy. These skins, special camo skins, this one isn't horrible. This one, I don't like that. Just a bunch of stars. Some blame on the other band members too, because they likely knew what Paul was doing. Yeah, that's where I was just kind of, I was trying to group everybody when I was saying inner circle of queens. Like, how much did any of the bandmates know? Any of their producers? Did any managers know what was going on with Paul and anything behind the scenes there? Like, and even still to today, all it takes is one person to say something. And it might get through to that person. Be like, hey, I noticed this about this guy or this person, like, and sometimes you kind of have to be the a-hole to be like, he's not a good person. You're probably not saying that, but he's not. Because I think I said this like an hour ago or something, or when we first started talking about Freddie Mercury. But like kind of one of those, I don't want to say quote unquote, but like one of the like an abuser in a relationship. Most of the times the victim, which I would say Freddie was absolutely a victim, they can't see it. They can't. It's very weird, but like most victims, I don't know why, or I don't understand. Just like psychologically, they can't. They don't see that they're a victim. They don't see that, oh, this person isn't. They're not helping me. They're only trying to drag me down further and further. What English? What red flags early on would you say Paul had? I don't know if this would be early on, but I would definitely say a huge red flag that was definitely shown in the movie, but we don't know to what extent in real life. Just the continuous partying. how many parties did Paul kind of influence Freddy into having or some or whatever. You know, that's definitely something that I kind of thought of during when I watched the movie like the second or third time. It's just like obviously it's been a little bit, but just like I can't remember in the movie how many times it was like, oh yeah, Freddy tried to set this party up, or it was Paul. But like in real life, Paul or anybody else who was around Paul's kind of circle, you know, how much were they influencing parties to happen at Freddy's place? Plus, how early on in the movie? Fred, right? Yeah. Should have been reflected. And that's where with um Roger, John, and Brian being the main yes or no sayers of the movie, you know, and obviously movies in general just being a little bit more fictitious for dramatic effect. You know, for us to see that, we kind of and nowadays kind of hate to say it, but like we kind of recognize it a little bit earlier on. Be like, yeah, that looks not a little bit of a, it's not a healthy look to have on somebody's face, you know. But obviously, we don't know what happened in real life, which kind of sucks because like you want to know what happened. Like we need to know the full story. We need to know the true story, what happened. But should deliver the band members of Punk. Yeah, that probably would have helped as well. Okay, I will be right back. I will go open window. Okay, I'm back. It's tough. Like you wanna be like, yeah, that was Paul was the main villain of Queen, and obviously you have more. Um, you have some people in some stories that are more of a villain than others, obviously, but at the same time, I feel like most everybody still needs to take some responsibility. Because to me, Queen was a little bit of a family, just because I don't know how well the rest of the bandmates are. Like, I don't know how close they are together, but I feel after you spend years of your life starting from the ground up, you gotta kind of have your bandmate slash brother or sister's back, you know. And I mean, it's also tough because it's like at the end of the day, it is a business, so it's you can't fully be like, yeah, I that's my family right there, But I would say if you're spending time with some sort of band for 5, 10 years and you just you basically get to know everything about them. There should be, there should have been a little bit more, I guess, connection between them, but I don't know. If you told them Paul would have been fired on the spot because you don't, that's someone you work with. And I feel like that's where, what's it called? HR, human resources, really start to kick into businesses because obviously I wasn't old enough, but in the 80s and I really feel like after a certain president with a certain somebody, that also helped with some sort of HR be like no dating in the workplace, but not sure. Let's see when Okay, so we were just discussing the movie then, because not entirely sure how true it is, but apparently there was, I mean, obviously his brothers disputed that. So that's, I guess, very, very private information. um, I mean, I don't doubt that there was a relationship just because of both of them in real life passing away um, from same complications, but yeah, so we don't fully know. So that was a very, our discussion about Paul has just been a very, very in-depth speculation of Paul. But we do know that he was Freddy's manager, but that only lasted a couple of years because that went from 77 to, when was he his? What do you think he did? What he did? Um, joining Queen. He's a disc jockey, downtown radio in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Okay, what the hell's a disc jockey? Plays recorded popular music, especially on radio at disco. Gotcha. Okay, so in my mind, now that I know what he did before, I don't imagine that working at a radio station pays well, especially in 1980, I guess 75. Um, and after apparently meeting him, in my mind, I would think that he took advantage of the opportunity meeting him. I don't know like what the specifics are for like what Paul knew. Like, did he know that Freddy was, you know, bi or gay or whatever? was that public information at the time, or it's like, being a little bit lower in a lower paying occupation, I would say most people would take the opportunity to, get to that point. You know what I mean? It's like maybe his intent probably wasn't to just completely start going for Freddy in the instance that it shows in the movie. Because since he did become a more of a manager for Freddy, maybe that's what his intention was at first, and then it turned. Done with Paul Dip and not try to date. Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, most people would probably absolutely jump at the opportunity to be like, hey, my name's whatever. I would love to work with you. And that's what I was saying is like, was it public information? Was Freddy's, personal relations and whatever, was that public information at the time? And for some people, if you work with somebody, or if you spend enough time around them, you potentially may become attracted to them, and that's more than likely what happened. And now there was just very, very horrible side effects that came along with that decision of Freddy and Paul becoming, potentially, since we don't truly know, I guess, just the bad side effects of that. Not fully, no. Because, I mean, on the surface, I feel like everybody can be a good person. Like, if I'm walking past somebody on the street, I'm not gonna, like, clutch my possessions, be like, man, he's gonna rob me. I'm gonna get robbed today, like. And so, if you kind of take that as face value, it's just like, yeah, everybody, good person and whatever. I think it was just why did the movie make it look back? Because I think that's how Brian, Roger, and John saw Paul. They didn't like him as a person because he was so close to Freddy, and once Freddy really started to kind of go downhill with chemistry with Queen, they kind of just forced the reason on Paul to be like, yeah, that's the guy that made everything go downhill. Like, which it probably was. But to start, I don't think Paul was a bad person. But I think once he started to get used to the party lifestyle, the riches, everything that Freddy had, basically, that's when you could probably start believing some of the stuff in the movie about Paul. Because obviously I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I just think from like 75 to maybe 76 or 77, before he became Freddy's personal manager, everything was good between everybody. It's like, okay, well, Freddy's getting a manager. It kind of makes sense. He's one of the bigger members of Queen. But then, you start hearing about all the parties that Freddy's throwing, how often they're getting thrown, kind of having Paul right there in the picture. Probably doesn't make Paul look the greatest, which I'm not denying that. I don't think he was a great person after however long. I just think, like, the first couple of years, he probably was a little bit better. So at first Paul just saw his professional relationship, then as time went on, started to fall for... Yeah, exactly, basically. Basically just summed up what I wanted to say. In the movie, I think they wanted to exaggerate how the rest of Queen and maybe how Mary saw Paul. More than likely, yeah. Or at least a little... like, maybe he was like Freddy, where he was maybe bisexual, or he was full gay, or whatever, Right, yeah. Because in the movie, obviously Mary was Freddy's, I would say, one true love. I can't remember if if the movie quoted him as that, saying that, but and like a lot of stuff is just like you want to know, like, what happened, like you want it to be public information just because your brain's thinking is like, well, what happened here? I want to know what happened, but
Rapid Response Team Alpha, Security Chief Blanchard. How copy?
obviously a lot of stuff
Got a little dinged up.
not going to be public record
See
or
if there's anyone
information,
left to
but
save. Body cam's live. I'll keep eyes on.
in a way, but Paul for his marriage relationship. If the movie depicts, if the English, if it happened the way the movie said, or at least in kind of that way, or even how I've said it, is like just the first few years it was good, and then that's where you would see a lot more of... You could probably believe the movie a little bit more of how the relationship went downhill with
Blanchard out.
Paul. Yeah, you could
Unassigned
probably...
staff is missing somewhere in your AO.
That'd probably be a very
Locate and
true statement.
counting on their expertise to
You could probably say that very... And nobody would deny, like, yeah, that was totally his fault for those two, like... Nobody would get mad if you said that, I should say. That's what I do, but I don't like about biopic movies like Bohemian Rhapsody and everything. Or, not everything, but like... Just most movies like that, like the Elvis movie, Elton John's Rocket Man.
keep pushing.
There's the Temptations little documentary movie there.
Even if it turns out it was us.
And there's probably like dozen plus more movies. It's just like, I want to believe it, but is it true? Like, did that actually happen? So it's like, you gotta see who worked on the movie, who, was kind of the producers, co-producers. Whose side of the story are they truly getting? Are they trying to get Freddy, are they trying to get the main character or person in a better light? Are they trying to... I guess what's their main motive behind making the movie? Is it just to make the movie? Is it to, you know, tell a really exciting story? Is it to honor them, you know?
Energized and revitalized.
You know, if it's just to tell a story, then you're probably not going to get the best of whatever, you know. You're going to get a side of the story, but it's not going to be pretty. Also complete it's just like we got caught up in that war stuff. We didn't see what was going on. Exactly, yeah.
This time, stay down.
Now, don't take this out of context, but Paul may have been... He was a victim, but it was a victim of being blinded by the rich lifestyle. Which made him do what he was doing. He didn't think he was doing anything wrong. So in the instance of the rich lifestyle, he was a little bit of a victim, but for the most part, he probably wasn't. He was probably the bad guy. More than likely was the bad guy. So maybe for like the first year or two, like I was saying previously, how it was, you know, start off just pure professional relationship with Queen and being Freddy's manager, actually handling business. And that's where I would say he was a little bit of a victim to the rich lifestyle, but then after he got used to it, that's where it kind of went downhill for him.
All about focus.
Because if you're on, you know, as high as you can get with whatever, you know, with your life, just you feel like you're invincible at that point. You don't see what you're doing wrong because you're blinded, basically. Because you think you're doing something that you think may be right, or just you may not care, be like, yeah, I don't care if this, you know, hurts somebody 5 years down the road, like... I want to say mainly because I think
Is this supposed to make me stronger?
the others had, I don't think they had like full families going at that point, but they were like, they had their relationships and whatever present, and that's where I don't know, like, what did Paul know? Did Paul know that Freddy was more open about his relationship, where he was at personally and everything, you know? because I can't remember in the movie. I know when he told Mary, but I don't remember when he. I don't even know if they showed it in Bohemian Rhapsody. That Freddie told the rest of Queen that he was bi or whatever. Because I can't remember it, but I feel like they left that out kind of on purpose, because if they didn't put it in the movie, I feel like they left it out on purpose just because they couldn't really remember the date that he said, so they didn't really put it into... You know what I mean? That is definitely a movie I gotta go back and watch and see, like, all the small details to get fully caught up / remember who said what and when. Right, yeah. So, like, even if he didn't fully know
But I am quick on the draw.
about Freddy, he probably knew for sure that the other three weren't. And maybe just like the way that Freddy dressed or something, that he could maybe be like, he could tell or something. It's just like, I don't know, it's very, you could ask questions like that all day and we'd be here talking about, well, yeah, he probably could, he probably knew this or that, and somebody probably didn't say anything, or somebody told him this and whatnot. Come on, there we go. What do you think, Mary?
Max armor.
Obviously we knew when Paul had, we obviously knew from Freddy's perspective a little bit when Paul had to go. Because Paul sold the story to the newspaper. So that's when that's when Freddy knew that Paul was officially gonna go. But for Mary, that one's, yeah, early on, probably. I would probably say maybe around like 1980 or something. Because he became Freddy's manager in 77. So I would say maybe by like 1980 she had like a hunch or something. I feel like in 3 years they probably, there's more than enough to be like, yeah, Paul, I don't like that guy anymore, you know? Let's see. I know this isn't gonna be like exact or maybe like real life, but so in the movie, you know, you can, as a fan or like not a fan, but as the audience, you see that like during Another One Bites the Dust, they were kind of that's when like their first major fight or something, like one of their first major fights really broke out in the movie was Another One Bites the Dust. And so that was released in August of 1980. So yeah, I feel like by then, Queen and Mary probably were, on the edge, like, guys, I don't think Paul's the best guy,
Double points.
Why didn't she say anything? I'll get the Shakira Freddy. She could have said something. I can't remember when I said this, but like going back to the kind of like the abuser thing in a relationship, you kind of like the victim is blinded. Like, no, they're not that bad. I don't have enough yet to pack shit. And that's where, like, I feel like somebody must have said something. Cause like, yeah, from Mary's character in the movie, I can't see her just sitting around being like, well, there goes Freddy with Paul again. Like, you just don't see her sitting around and doing nothing. And that's where I think maybe somebody did say something, but Freddy he couldn't believe it. It's like, no, Paul, he's not that bad, guys, come on.
Well worth the cost.
You know? It's like, why would he do such a thing? He's not doing that. He's not throwing me under the bus. He's not dragging me down with him. Baby's like, she could have said, right. When 1980, that's when I think that, everybody was kind of seeing what was going on, just because of, like, the movie with, like, their argument in Another One Bites the Dust, in that scene. I did not want to grab the loot key, I wanted to grab the Hellstorm. Thank you. So, it could have maybe been a couple of years later. And we don't fully know when. Well, I guess we haven't looked it up. When was Freddy diagnosed? I think it said in like 87 that he was diagnosed. Was diagnosed in 87. Oh yeah, so we knew that. Okay. Some sources suggest he may have shown early symptoms as early as 82. But how often did he go to the doctors between then and 1985 or something, Between 1980 and 87, how often did he go to the hospital and to his doctor, So he may have had it back in like 84 or something. But if he was only showing, symptoms in 82, 1980, yeah, you're right. She probably could have saved him. That's where I do like your point. Definitely could have saved Freddy. But I don't like throwing all the blame onto her about that. most of it could have been saved from her, you know, standing up and saying some stuff. And she may have also could, you know. She could have said, you know, a couple things to Freddy, but he just didn't listen to her. And that's why I don't like throwing all the blame onto her, because, you know,
Hill is no longer
you got other bandmates, maybe a producer or a manager or somebody else as well could have stepped up, but like, when Mary called Paul and Freddy was working on this, make songs said on the lines. Yeah. Not sure. Yeah, not sure if that happened as well. Like, was Paul just kind of keeping Freddy under the wraps of everything, kind of to himself as well? Another thing that, you know, was that fictitious just to make dramatic effects for the movie. Which I'm sure it absolutely was, but how much was it, you know? I feel like if we look that up, it's just gonna be like, sources say, but who knows, you know?
See how it goes? You're all watching it.
Who's playing the most? For like trying to help, like not trying to help Freddy or something. I don't know how I would word that. For all of it? I would say for what we know, Paul's a pretty good answer, in my opinion.
Everyone all right?
Just from, like, the few facts from the movie, kind of just, like, with history and what was public record, and just kind of what we figured out, being like, oh, Paul and Freddy both died from, complication. You know, like, I would say Paul's a pretty damn good answer to blame for all of it. But you probably could find holes or gaps and be like, yeah, it was everybody's fault. Like, everybody has at least a little bit of blame. But like I said, for like kind of what we know, what we've seen in the movie, Paul isn't the worst answer. It's one of the answers that you would say. You could say it, and people probably wouldn't be upset with you. Be like, yeah, I could see it being his fault, you know. I think it's everyone's fault. Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Is just like you could find a reason and put somebody in that spot. But most people wouldn't disagree if you said it was just Paul's fault for everything. Just because most people are gonna believe what happened in the movie, which I felt for most of it until I looked it up, and like... Because for one Mary decided to save him, would have been saved. More than likely, yeah. Same with the band members, right. Yeah, kind of in the same boat right now, just... And that's where I also, like, I don't blame 100% with, like, Mary and the band members, because we don't know if they said anything. We don't know what kind of talks they had, and conversations and whatnot. So it's a little tough to be like, yeah, it's completely their fault right now, like... Why Freddy still isn't with us. That would definitely make this conversation a hell of a lot easier, though. Like, yeah, it's this guy's or this person's fault. They said he was blind. Yeah, you could throw Freddy in there as well, as just kind of like everybody was to blame. Because, like, if that was happening to you, for the most part, not for the most part, but for, like, some things, you'd probably be okay with, like, oh, hey, another party, that's, you know, that's fun, I'll hang out for a little while. And for some people, it's tougher for them to... For some people, it's the toughest thing to do is to reach out. And, like, I kind of don't like to give blame for the time era, but just with, like, 1980s versus today, it wasn't as prevalent back then. Like, today you're like, oh, those are very red flags to me. Very obvious red flags to me. That doesn't sound like a healthy relationship that I would want to be in. I'm going to speak out, get to a friend or a family member or something. Just because there's been so many examples in the past 40 years that it's now become so prevalent that a lot of people can recognize it a lot easier now. It's like, that's why I say I hate to blame it on the time era, but that's why also it sucks that it has become so prevalent, is because it's happened so much. It's like, I'm glad because now we can recognize a lot more dangerous and, you know, dangerous stuff like that. But at the same time, it sucks that it has happened so often and frequent. Let me pause. Don't want to go and see him before he passed. It's mostly his mom. It's not because he didn't want to. It's because he said it should be him. Interesting. In the movie, they definitely didn't show, like, how close Freddy was with his parents. And that scene, it still confused me a little bit after watching it a couple times when he goes and visits his parents with Jim. it's like, were they happy to see him? It's just like I'm sure they were happy to see him and everything. It's just I don't fully understand the scene still. So like that's another thing that, you know, if I go back and watch the Bohemian Rhapsody, that's one of the scenes I would want to study a little bit more and be like, okay, I may understand it on my next watch or something. Jim is a good guy. Jim, I would say yeah. I don't think Jim was present. I don't know the full relationship between Jim and Freddy, but I don't think that Jim he wasn't there to really do anything. And a lot of sources, when I've been looking stuff up tonight, a lot of stuff has been telling me like, oh yeah, Jim was by his side in the last few years of Freddy's life. So like if Jim was there instead of Paul, it probably would have been a lot better for him. I know during the end of Freddy's life they did. I don't know fully like the exact dates or like exact years when they did. But more towards the end of Freddy's life, I know they did. Because like I was saying, a lot of sources were saying, it's like, oh yeah, Jim was by Freddy's side for, you know, last couple of years, whatever.
I'll let you know how it performs.
Okay, I've got like 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna hop off.
This crap, yeah, it's just another day for me.
So maybe finish this round and then we'll save. Reload. Stating of Jones for his injury or I don't think so, no. And there probably still would have been like parties and everything. Just not the type of parties that were shown in the movie or the kind of parties I'm thinking of, you know? You know, parties that weren't... I want to say... I don't want to say anything that's gonna, like, be, like, crazy. I might get, like, some sort of warning on YouTube or something, but... like, the typical bad parties that you would think of in, like, 1980. The match will start. Saved at the start around 21. Perfect. Yeah, I'll just end there for now, match-wise. What do you think Jim would have done? It would have been more... not like a Christmas party, but like... but like on TV shows and whatever, just like having a bunch of friends and stuff like that, just come and have a good time. Now there may potentially been a couple of the quote-unquote fun type of parties here and there, just because I think that's something that may have happened just because it's the 80s. But it probably wouldn't have gone... it wouldn't have gotten to the extent that it did with Paul. you know, like if finger air quotes, if Freddy was throwing a party, it would have been more of, you know, come and have a good time. Here's, you know, here's some drinks and whatever, you know. Been more responsible. Right, yeah, it would have been more of a responsible party, not just a, okay, welcome. Do whatever you like, you know. Like, we'll throw on overpressured. And then throw on new camo. I'll get 1,000 kills, and then hop into a second match and probably get those 3 camos. Okay. Jim let Paul, I don't think he would have. Probably not. And I'm saying a lot of this just based on the fact that what I've heard and seen from like articles and whatever, Jim was more of an actual partner. And so that's what makes me think that, you know, it would have been a lot more of friendly parties, not just, okay, we're going to have a really good time, you know. Bohemian Rhapsody cast. I don't remember his name. I know it's Jim, but was it Jim Beach or it was Jim Hutton? Okay. Irish hairdresser. There's the American actor. He passed away in 79, but he was born in 34. So 44, 54, 64, 74, 84. Just under 50 years old. Okay. Passed away in 2010. And eventually moved back to his native Ireland, where he passed away in 2010. Caregiver for Mercury during his final years. Yep, we've kind of knew that. In 84, okay. Freddie Mercury, perfect. 60 years old, that's not horrible. I would assume I would assume similar complications, but lung cancer, never mind. I like Jim, seems more like a nice guy. Unfortunately, lung cancer, so he was diagnosed with HIV in 1990, did not succumb to the disease. Okay. So I was somewhat on the right track that he potentially could have passed away from it. Similar complications, but he did not. So if he didn't get lung cancer, he may have passed away from this, but I mean, 2010 wasn't horrible. I mean, 60 years old, that's tough. Because it's like, 60's past halfway, technically. It's past midlife. But 60 still doesn't seem like that old. You know? So he might have been able to make it to, like, today? 2010, he was 60. If he was 60 in 2010, he'd be 75, 76. About there. About 75, depending on his birthday. So, if he, like, passed away in, like, 2020, wouldn't be as bad because it's, like, 70. I don't know. For me, it's, like, 60s, it's still not, like, a horrible age to pass away. But at the same time, it still feels just, like, slightly too young. Like, it's interesting to think, because it's, like, for me, 60 is still just slightly too young. But, like, 70, 75 is, like, it feels like that's, an alright age. At least, like, not an alright age, but, like, a alright life. An appropriate amount of years to live. Oh, damn. His birthday was January 4th. He's 3 days away from his birthday. Damn. Seems like Jim cared about Freddie more than Paul. Yeah. I don't know, like, how much truth or, like, how well they did Jim's character in Bohemian Rhapsody. But they make him, in the movie, they make him seem like he should have been the first choice for Freddie instead of Paul. Because, like, as early on, he would have stopped. If Jim was, yeah, I gotcha. That's fair. Well, let's see here. I don't want to cause of death, but 77 to 86. Okay, so Freddie met Jim 2 years before he fired Paul. Queen fired Paul, 86, yep. Threw a house party for it. Yep, okay. It's not that special, but multiple people through the year, especially at the end. Oh, okay, that's why they say it's not that special. So around like 85, 86, Freddie was just like, you're fired. You're fired. Now you're fired. So from 87 to 91, Jim was by Freddie's side. That kind of sucks. You meet somebody 2 to 3 years before they're diagnosed with basically a deadly disease at that time. And then you only get to spend 3 to 4 years with that person. I believe it was Freddie that fired Paul, yeah. Because the way I just read that little segment is Freddie was just kind of starting to let everybody go. It's just like, he kind of had, Freddie kind of, I feel like he woke up and it's just like, time to fire some people who really aren't helping me today. Like. And it seems like Paul was one of the last people to go. But, yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for Jim now, too. Like, doing all this research and seeing, like, kind of more of the bigger story. Well, this was a depressing way to end the stream. My bad. I mean, that... I am, but I'm not sorry how I'm ending today's stream. Because, like, it's interesting. We're learning... I'm learning about like a little bit of history and everything. It just sucks what we're learning, what I'm learning about, you know? More than likely. That's, yeah, probably, it was more than likely Paul, yeah. And that's where I still, there's still like a little bit of like blank space in the story of Freddie Mercury. It's just like the kind of parties that I'm thinking that were thrown, like 95%, I'm sure it was more than likely Paul. And then there's that other 5% that just during one of the parties, there was something that happened with Freddie and some random person, and so like there's still just like a little bit of space, just like maybe it wasn't Paul, but it's really hard not to believe that it wasn't him. I don't blame him for anything because it came in way too late. Yeah, because like I read, Freddie was starting to show symptoms in '82, so it's like he didn't meet Jim till '84. So it's really hard to blame Jim because like he really had no, he didn't have anything to do. He was showing symptoms, but he wasn't diagnosed until '87. And that's where I was saying maybe like half hour ago or something. It's like how often did Freddie go to the doctor between '82 and '87? You know, because he may have gotten it in like '83 or something, but he wasn't officially diagnosed until '87. What symptoms was Freddie Mercury showing for his HIV? White lesion on his tongue. Early symptoms. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And point to an early HIV infection. Developed other symptoms. Whatever that is. Purple lesions on the skin. Interesting. Advanced symptoms likely included those characteristic of in weight loss and fatigue. Blander foods. Interesting. Or may. What the fuck am I talking about? Showing symptoms in '82, yet got it 3 years later? What the fuck? Got in '76. That's when. I just looked it up. He was. Paul was his manager from. I can't remember dates right now. 77, okay. But he met him in '76. That's right, okay. Or he met him in like '74, '76, right? 70s. Oh, right there. That. When did he meet? That works. In 75. Okay. You know the meme of just like your brain with like neurons and electrons and protons just flying around, just like everything's starting to add up now. Like, hmm. I'm sure we're not the first people to like discover this and be like, yeah, it was this guy. Like, 82. Because I think it's here. I think it's on this one. In a normal patient, the incubation period is around 10 years. Fuck it, we'll see if we can read. Diagnosed with a. Start symptoms. Okay, we just gotta find the thing we were reading. Apparently, even before life. Oh my god, that's a fucking paragraph. Most likely. Alright, here we are, here we are. Showing. He took his test shortly after the. And he got his results back half a year later. Okay, when was the Nebworth concert? When did Wayne go to the Worth concert? In 86, okay. Shit. Shortly after 86. So shortly after, so probably closer to like September of 86 is when he technically had it. Is when he officially had it. You know, all this information. Piece by piece, we're building pretty convincing story for Paul to be the man. To technically give it to him. Not technically give it to him. That is... Honestly, that sounds like pretty close case to me, not gonna lie. I mean, that sounds like a pretty closed and shut case to me, like... So I think it was Paul. I'm still there. Oh, I'm up to like 97, 98% that it was Paul now. Like I've gone from like 95 to like 97, 98% that it was Paul. Because you didn't meet the man till 75. A year later, and if the information that it takes about 10 years in a normal patient, the incubation period is about 10 years. That timeline's already adding up from 75 to 76. If he was fully diagnosed in 87, but if it takes about half a year, that's September of 86. 10 years. I mean, like... And, you know, a year later after that, he's now your manager? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And, you know, another kind of cherry on top is, like, how many prior... What's the word I'm looking for? how many times did Paul and Freddy, I guess, meet up? You know, what kind of interactions were there even before 77? Yeah, if only, unfortunately. Well, this was a very fun topic to talk about for 2 hours. But yeah, that sucks. It was. But alright, like Screen says, thank you all so much for watching. Gamer, once again, very fun topic. Thank you for bringing it up. That was very, very informational. We know a lot more than we did, I guess. But if you could, very much appreciate it. Drop a follow to all of the socials down below.